for the time to happen. So thank you everyone for coming along to the 2024 information seminar for RSP. My name is Ravi. It's nice to meet you, everyone. So before I jump into this seminar, I just wanted to give a gracious thank you to the two clubs that are sponsoring this talk, the Competitive Programming Club and the Computer Science Club. Both of these clubs have basically organised this whole talk and have funded the pizzas for afterwards, so thank you to those two clubs. And I wanted to quickly jump in and talk about clubs a little bit. So when I was an undergrad here at Adelaide, I probably wouldn't have learnt what I needed to learn to get internships and know how to study for them without the communities of the Computer Science Club. And I think it's a really important thing to immerse yourself in communities like these clubs, because you surround yourself with people who have the same ambition as you and a similar drive to you, and some of them are going to know a lot more than you about how to achieve some things that you want to achieve, and surrounding yourself with people who know things that you want to know is only going to make your ambition grow and your knowledge grow. So definitely, if you haven't been getting involved in computer science activities and clubs and events that these clubs hold, definitely jump in and do that, because it's really going to help, especially get connected to companies, and just there's a lot of things that are a benefit that I won't go through, but yeah, definitely sign up. And I want to mention they have stalls at the back, so when the pizzas are on, you can go and talk to them and sign up right here. So what is RSP? RSP, the best way I can describe it, it's like an intensive Navy SEAL style boot camp that we run over the summer. It's completely free for students, and it's run by a bunch of ex-students and current students who are volunteering their time to help and train and guide the next generation of students so they can also get into a big tech company. And basically, we throughout the summer, you study a bunch of theory and you practice coding problems that you'll need for live interviews, and you'll give and take mock interviews with other students that are also doing the bootcamp. And you'll do this for one single purpose, and that is to pass interviews for companies, big tech companies and high frequency trading companies in March and April next year. So basically, we're jamming a lot of information into your brains for 3 months to try and make sure you're ready to pass interviews by March next year. Looking back at some of the previous years, the program has been running for 4 years. This will be the 5th year it's run now. And I've collated a bunch of statistics across all of the years. And over the past 4 years, we've had 611 people enroll into the program. But out of those 611, only 238 people have actually finished the program. And of those 238 people, we've had over 270 offers for internships and full-time offers for software engineering positions at a wide range of companies locally, nationally and internationally. And of those 270 offers, over 120 of them have come from the big companies, the big tech companies and the high frequency trading companies, such as Google, Amazon, Atlassian, Palantir, Canva, and some trading companies like Jane Street, IMC, Optiva, Citadel, and also TikTok. So we've had some really cool offers over the past years of cohorts. From the past cohort. And a statistic that I'm quite proud of, and I know a lot of us are really excited about, a couple of years ago, it was 2 years ago, the summer internship cohort at Google Australia in Sydney, 30% of all of the interns that interned at Google at that time, or all of the new software engineering interns who were interning at Google at that time, 30% of them came directly from RSP here from Adelaide. So we basically dominated the entire country, and basically 1/3 of all of Google's interns in Australia came from Adelaide University 2 years ago, which was a pretty awesome feat. So we had a bunch of advertisements that were out, and on the advertisements we had a talk that I had done here in this lecture theatre like 3 years ago, and that talk is It goes through everything you need to know, assuming, let's say you don't come and do the program and you would like to study how to get into one of these big tech companies and study for the interviews yourself in your own time. That talk was designed so you can watch that talk and do that in your own time. So we assume that everyone has watched that talk even before doing RSP. So if you haven't watched it already, definitely please go to either my YouTube channel where it's uploaded or follow the links that are on all the advertisements online and watch that talk. So a bit about myself. So I founded the RSP at the end of 2019 when I was starting my master's. I did my undergraduate degree in computer science here at Adelaide University, and I did a Master of Philosophy in AI Research here at Adelaide up at the Australian Institute for Machine Learning. And during my undergraduate degree, I interned at Google, Atlassian, Palantir, and Microsoft across a range of roles. I was a software engineering intern, site reliability engineering intern, machine learning engineering intern, and in 4 weeks from now, I'm going to move over to the UK to start a PhD in AI research over at Oxford University. So that's a bit about myself. And this year, the program is run by a brand new coordinator, Jack Morton. And Jack did the program 2 years ago, and they immediately stood out to the ex-coordinator, Sean, and I. And they were the first person to finish the program that year, and they really stood out to a lot of the other students. They were putting a lot of energy and time into explaining what each of the interviews were like whenever they would interview at companies like throughout the process. And they were just a really good role model for the rest of the cohort. Jack followed on to get a few internship offers. So they got an offer from Atlassian as a software engineer, Citadel and Jane Street in Hong Kong. Jack went over to Hong Kong last summer and they interned for 3 months there and managed to get a return offer as a software engineer where they'll go back to Hong Kong next year, at the end of this year, to work full-time as a software engineer. On top of the offers, Jack has also been really heavily involved in the competitive programming club. So some of you who are involved in the club probably already know them. And Jack's role, they're a secretary and they have been involved in organising workshops and organising the competitive programming events. And they have also been involved with the Women in STEM program, or collaborating with the Women in STEM program to have joint workshops with the competitive programming club and that organisation here in Adelaide. So they've really just been all around a great role model for the whole community. And without further ado, I want to welcome Jack onto the stage. Here they are.
Can everyone hear me well? Good, okay. Thank you, Ravi, for that beautiful introduction. It's lovely to see so many people here today. I'm sure many of you have seen me in recent weeks coming into your lectures to advertise this talk. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to coordinate the program this year. I remember 2 years ago sitting in this hall and just thinking, there is no way I could possibly make it through this program. Like, 50% of students are getting kicked out before the end of December. I don't know how I could possibly make it through. I was only in object-oriented programming at the time, so I had very limited experience in programming, and all these people getting offers at places like Google. Who am I compared to them? And so I put a lot of effort into my time in the program. I made sure I got all of my theory study done pretty much before the program began. And it allowed me to just have a lot of time throughout the program to talk with people, to put time into my own study, and just really excel. And I had a really good time in the program. I learned a lot. I developed a lot as a software engineer, and it's given me just so many life-changing opportunities. And I couldn't have done it without Ravi and Sean. And I really hope that I can give some of you all the same opportunities that I received thanks to their work in the program. Before we move on, I want to also just give a huge thank you to Sean Gunawardena He was the coordinator for the previous 2 years, so both when I was in the program as a student, and also last year I returned as a mentor, and he was coordinating both years. He put in so much effort into the program, and he'll continue to help me coordinate the program this year as well, so you'll see him quite a lot during the program. He's interned at places such as the Australian Submarine Corporation, Australian Signals Directorate, and Google, as well as receiving offers from Amazon, AirwellX, and Vivcorp. He is extremely passionate and hardworking and kind, and the program would not be where it is today were it not for him and all of the effort that he's put in. So I want to also just give a huge thank you to Sean, who could not be here today. So let's talk about the program. When you first join, you'll be added into a Discord with not only the entire current cohort of RSP students, but also all previous RSP graduates. So this server is a central hub, a growing hub of many connections to full-time software engineers at big tech firms, both across Australia and around the globe. So we currently have full-time employees in the server who are working at places such as Google, Amazon, TikTok, Optiva, and Jane Street, and that the list of companies only grows every year. So as the program continues to develop, we hope that all of you will come in and go out to all sorts of different companies and around the world and just make the RSP Discord a much richer community. This Discord will also be used for a lot of the communication throughout the program. Let's start off with the seminars. Every Sunday we'll be conducting some seminars, myself and some of the mentors, about a variety of topics. This might range from a resume building seminar where we teach you how to make a resume or build a LinkedIn profile. We might give you tips on how to prepare for a specific kind of interview. Or an ever popular one is the live mock interview demos between current mentors, where they'll conduct a live mock interview in front of you all so that you can learn from the greats. So this is a very student-led process. All of the seminar ideas will be suggested and voted on by students. Also at the end of every seminar, you'll have an opportunity to, there'll be a question and answer session where you're able to interact directly with the mentors and of course myself. So this is one of the best opportunities for you to interact with me throughout the program. You'll also be using the Discord to post progress reports. So every Monday you'll have to post what's called a Monday update, and that will just recap everything that you've done in the previous week of the program and the amount of time that you put into the program. This is just for us to make sure that you're on track to complete the program by the end of February. And of course, it would be a lot of effort for just me to go through hundreds of students every week to make sure everyone's individually on track. So everyone will get paired up with a mentor. Mentors will just have a smaller selection of students that they will focus on and take care of throughout the program. They will be responsible for making sure that you're on track to complete the program. They'll be making sure that, and they'll also be conducting your role promotion interviews, which we will discuss shortly. But more importantly, your mentor should act as a form of guidance to you. When I joined the program, it was very daunting, entering this new world of big tech interviews. I'd never even considered working for a company like Google or Jane Street. And so learning how to navigate that world and start applying to software engineering roles, it's helpful with all the structure that the program gives you, but just having that mentor, I had Devansh as my mentor, just give me some personal guidance throughout the program, and that was just extremely useful for me, especially in times where the program was, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to complete the program with everything that I would need to do, and doubting my own skills. Devansh was really helpful for me throughout the program, and I hope that your mentors will be able to be very helpful towards you, and also continuing after the program to continue to act as a form of guidance. So let's talk about the progression of the program. There is a lot that you need to do before the end of the program, and it would be too much just to dump in your laps and be like, hey, complete this entire list of tasks by the end of February. So we've tried to gamify the process instead, which should make it much more digestible. Everyone will start off as a beginner, and then there are 4 roles ranging from beginner up to advanced. And your goal at every step of the program is just to promote to the next role before the promotion deadline. So as a beginner, your goal is to study theory. There are 2 books which you'll be reading. One is Cracking the Coding Interview, and the other is the Algorithm Design Manual. You'll need to read the first 86 pages of Cracking the Coding Interview and the first 10 chapters of ADM before the end of December, or a bit into January. it is the hardest part of the program. To just read through all of this, because it is so much content and it can be very difficult to understand as well. It's likely that just reading through it alone won't give you that adequate understanding that we need or that we expect from you. So you'll also be supplementing your reading with research, whether this be through reading articles or watching YouTube videos just to explain some of the contents of the books more in depth. And so all that work that you do should set you up to have a very thorough understanding of algorithm theory, algorithm and data structure theory, which you'll need in coding interviews. Once you've read all of that, you'll be eligible to promote to novice. In order to make sure that you've properly understood everything, at every single role promotion, you'll have to conduct an interview with your mentor. So your mentor for the novice promotion will interview you on all of the different theory that you would have been studying to make sure that you've adequately read and understood all of the various aspects that you will be required to. So this can be a hurdle for some, so it's important that you get into your role promotion interview early in case you need to go back and do some more study and reattempt. And this is also aimed at making sure that not only have you properly understood all the concepts, but also that you're not trying to get by on like past knowledge that you might have from some of your university courses, because the level of knowledge that we expect from you and that large companies will expect from you is above that of the average university student. So we do expect you to supplement your study with these readings, and you shouldn't expect to get by on already understanding the content. So as a novice, you'll have a brand new set of requirements each week, starting with LeetCodes. So for those of you who aren't familiar with LeetCode, it is a website which has a database of over 1,000 different coding problems which are used in real-world interviews. So I remember when I was in the program, I once completed a LeetCode question, and about a week later, a company gave me an identical question to the LeetCode question I had solved in order to land an interview with them. So these are like real interview questions taken from real companies, and they range in difficulty from easy up to hard. We expect you to complete 10 of these a week across a range of difficulties. And whenever you complete a LeetCode, you'll also be timing yourself and recording this time in a spreadsheet. So we give you some target times for each of the different difficulties, which should give you an understanding of like, am I completing medium questions fast enough? Do I need to improve? This should give you a better idea of where you're standing currently and where you want to get to. And as well as this, timing the process of completing a LeetCode, it will give you that, it will force you to spend 2 hours on every single LeetCode question up until you solve it. So if you spend more than 2 hours trying to solve a question, then we'll let you look at the answer. But otherwise, you just need to spend that entire 2 hours sitting there thinking of every single idea that you might have as to how to complete the problem. It's a difficult process and it will take a while, but we do it for a good reason. And that's because it's very easy to naively go into a LeetCode problem and just figure, I don't know how to do this. I should just look at the solution and learn for next time and move on. But if you do that every time, you're going to start missing a lot of important concepts. You won't be able to understand the thought process that you need to go through in order to come to the solution that you're reading about. And you also might not appreciate a lot of the subtleties of the solution because you haven't spent time trying to solve it yourself and getting annoyed with all of the edge cases that you're coming across. So we make sure that you sit down, banging your head against the wall for 2 hours on those questions that you can't solve. And this should ideally give you an ideal learning experience. And when you come across these problems next, you should be able to solve them. The other requirement you'll have in Novice will be weekly mock interviews. So 2 times every week you'll be pairing up with another student to give each other live mock interviews. These are styled after a LeetCode style mock. So they'll each begin with a 5-minute behavioral portion where you'll ask some questions about, the interviewer will ask the interviewee about some of their work experience and other behavioral type questions that don't involve coding. And then the interviewer will give an easy LeetCode question and then a medium LeetCode question, which will the interviewee will then solve live. These mocks are one of the most valuable parts of the program. It will give you that experience and practice that you need to go into a real coding interview without feeling completely overwhelmed, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to communicate properly to your interviewer. You'll get to experience a wide range of interviewing styles as everyone will conduct their interviews slightly differently. And most importantly, At the end, you'll be able to run through a score across 6 different categories. So after every single mock, the interviewer will give a score in each of these categories on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you get below a 5 on any of these categories, you will fail the entire mock. This makes them extremely difficult, and that is by design. We want you to struggle now and feel the pressure now when it doesn't matter, so that by the time February and March roll around and you start interviewing with companies, that high pressure environment won't get to you so much and you should be more used to the experience. You can go through all of RSP without passing a single mock interview and still graduate. We don't look at your pass and fail rate when determining who will graduate and who won't. This is just purely for your own benefit so that you know what to work on. The other advantage of failing if you get anything below a 5 is it forces you to work on your weaknesses. You can't just get by on a few strong points in an interview. You need to make sure that the whole spectrum of different traits that you will be ranked on during an interview, that you're going well at them, and you can't just get by on the ones that you're good at. One other aspect I want to mention with the mock interviews is that having that experience to interview someone else, putting yourself in the interviewer's shoes, will help you tremendously when it comes to real interviews, because you'll know what interviewers are looking for. You'll know the kind of mistakes that you pick up on in other people, and you know not to make them yourself. When you're interviewing, you're not just trying to solve a question faster than everyone else or more efficiently. The interviewer is trying to tell, is this somebody that I want to work at my company? And so being able to think how an interviewer thinks is just a very valuable experience to have, and that's one that you'll gain a lot of during the mock interviews. So once you have completed 50 different LeetCode questions and 10 mock interviews, you'll be eligible to promote to intermediate. So during the intermediate promotion interview, your mentor will primarily run through your resume with you. We have a few requirements by this stage of the program. You'll need to have some work experience or a personal project on your resume. So if you don't have that right now, I would recommend starting a personal project pretty soon, or you can work on it throughout the program up to this point. They'll also run through your LinkedIn with you, and the idea of this is just so that you will be able to start applying for companies. So at this point, after you promote to intermediate, you're ready to apply for companies, you're experienced with some coding interviews, and for a lot of you, this is where you'll be able to graduate the program. As an intermediate, you will maintain the existing requirements of 10 LeetCodes every week, along with 2 mock interviews, but you'll also get an expansion upon what you're able to do. So to start off with mocks, we're introducing the idea this year of broadening mock interviews. So although the bread and butter of RSP remains the LeetCode style mocks because they are carried out by almost every company, there's also many different styles of interviews that you should be prepared for. In previous cohorts of RSP, we've noticed students by the end of the program have started to create their own mock interview styles, which don't fit into the regular RSP format and haven't counted towards their weekly requirements. So for instance, they might just do a full hour interview which is purely focused on behavioral questions, or maybe they'll have an interview which is tailored towards a specific company that they're about to apply for, or that they have an interview lined up for. So these broadening mocks, which can have like a whole range of different styles, we're now incorporating into the program as a requirement for intermediate students to complete once a week. You'll still have to do your one LeetCode style mock every week and then one broadening. On top of this, we also have some additional theory studies. So again, during the program, a lot of students will take it upon themselves to research more and study more into areas that might be more specific to the roles that they're aiming towards. And we think this is great that students are doing this, so we want to incorporate this into the weekly hours, just to give more support and encouragement to students who are doing this further study, and to try and encourage it in more people. And then we have this final role, which is advanced. So to reach intermediate, you need to complete 50 LeetCode questions and 10 mock interviews. You need to double that if you want to reach advanced. Advanced is not for everybody. It is only for the high achievers who want to push themselves further than the rest of the group. We have seen historically that students who do reach advanced do perform better when it comes to receiving good offers from companies. So it is highly worth it putting in the effort to try and reach the advanced role. However, it is not required to graduate. So in addition to all of the previous requirements, including the doubling of the LeetCodes and the mocks, you'll also need to have a personal portfolio website. You'll need to have another project or work experience, and you'll also need to have some community involvement on your resume. So you might want to consider volunteering for the computer science club or competitive programming club, or getting involved with the committees there. And so once that's all done, you'll be able to promote to advanced, and that will be the program complete. We consider advanced to be completing the program. You'll still have your weekly requirements of the mocks and the leak codes from then on, but there's no more roles for you to reach. You're officially one of the highest achieving students in RSP, which already contains some of the highest achieving students across all of Australia, and I really hope that you do consider going for advanced. However, I will say, if you want to reach advanced, you should get your theory study done before the beginning of the program in November. There simply is not enough time to begin the program in November, get all of your theory study done, and then do 100 leak code questions. You will need the time to be able to properly study these leak code questions, to practice your mocks, to work on your personal projects, to do any extra study that you might be looking into. You'll need the time if you want to reach advanced, and so I highly recommend that you start reading Cracking the Coding Interview and the Algorithm Design Manual now. It will make your life so much easier. This also goes for anyone who doesn't want to reach advanced and is just looking for intermediate. If you start the theory study now, your life will be a lot easier come December. I don't think we've had anyone reach advanced that didn't get all of their theory study done within the first 2 weeks. So that's everything from me. That's the program, and I'd like to hand it off to Ravi now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jack. So, before we speak about some other extras, I just wanted to make it known that the program is not easy. It's a hard program. You saw it with the numbers that I put out on one of the earlier slides, that not many people finish the program. And Jack mentioned it as well, that we lose most of the students who can't finish the theory study. And I think, keep in mind that if you're coming into this program, it's going to be a really, really tough thing to do. And you're going to have to basically go in with guns blazing, because you will likely not make it to the end if you don't. And I wanted to also mention that your mentor who's going to be working with you, they are going to be interning or working full-time at one of these companies throughout the summer. So you're not going to necessarily be able to rely and depend on them to teach you. They're not there to teach you. You need to teach yourself. They're just there to see if you're falling behind and to help encourage you if you are, or they're there to promote you. But you're the person who needs to teach yourself. So keep that in mind, that you're not going to be putting all this pressure on your mentor, and they will just be there as a guiding hand. And so we have mentioned that this program can help you get into these big tech companies, Google and high frequency trading companies. However, keep in mind that this program is designed for students who have just finished object-oriented programming in their first year. And basically I was asking myself the question, how do I train students that have just finished their first year of a computer science degree, and how do I make sure they land internship offers at Google and high frequency trading companies 3 months later? So this program is extremely grindy, and it's not for everyone. It's, if you feel like you need to take it slower, or if you need to learn this stuff over a longer amount of time, that's fine. But I don't want people to be discouraged thinking, if I don't do RSP, then I'm not going to get into Google and Facebook and Jane Street and all these companies. Because prior to RSP, everyone was just studying in their own time anyway, back when I was an undergrad. And Adelaide University still sent 12 or 15 people every year to these companies. So it's not a requirement. So just keep that in mind, and don't be disheartened if either you don't get in, or you don't feel like you can grind, or you have to pull out because you're not really able to commit the time during the summer. So that's something I wanted to make it clear. And so if you do decide to do the program, we do have some expectations. The way to think about it is, if you were at university and you were an undergrad doing 4 courses and you are hoping to get 4 high distinctions in that undergraduate semester, think about what type of time would you be putting in to actually achieve such a feat? Would you be working full time? Would you be taking on other boot camps at the same time? Would you be trying to do extra summer schools or extra internships? Probably not. And that is something that you need to think about when coming into RSP, because even though 30 hours a week is the minimum requirement, it's really a 40-hour week commitment that you should be making. And that isn't to say that you can't come in and try and do an internship at the same time as RSP or try and work. We definitely prefer the applicants who aren't working or who are working as little hours as possible. But it also is possible to do the program while you're working. We actually have a past student of RSP who was a PhD graduate who had a baby at the same time and was working at the same time as RSP, who managed to get a senior machine learning engineering position at Atlassian at the end of RSP. So it's possible, but that person was doing nothing else in their life but father, work, and RSP, and nothing else. So it's possible, but the majority of people that we see come into RSP who are working either don't finish the program, or even if they do finish the program, they don't get enough content finished, or maybe they aren't putting enough time into understanding all the questions, and statistically they don't get the positions that they were hoping to, because compared to all the other students who were putting 40 hours a week, they just couldn't really grasp everything as well as everyone else. So the program will start the first Monday after exams end for Adelaide University. So for those who are watching the recording online, that is the 18th of November is when the program begins, and it runs all the way through to February, and it will end the week before university goes back for Adelaide University students. And there are 2 important dates that you need to keep in mind. So if you're in the beginning phase of the program, you will need to make sure all your theory study is finished before the 5th of January. And if you haven't finished all the theory study by that point, then unfortunately you'll have to withdraw from the program and continue at your own pace. And to get to from the green promotion, the second promotion, to the blue promotion, there is also a deadline for that, which is the 7th of February. So on all of the links, the ads that have been put out online, the application form is available. If you wanted to, I'll have a QR code in the next slides for you can scan it yourself. But the application form is going to be due on the 8th of September, and we only have a finite number of mentors, and we only have, and each mentor can only handle a finite number of students. So there are a limited number of places available just because we simply don't have the time, considering everyone is working full-time while running this program for free. So last year we had 500 applications, and only 200 of those applications managed to get through. So with the application, the best advice I can give is put a lot of time and energy and effort into the application. Show us that you're passionate about wanting to get into these companies, and make it clear to us that you're ready to know life and grind throughout the whole summer, because that's who we're looking for. We're just trying to pick people who we think are most likely going to finish. That's the thing that we're trying to identify in your application. So if you can show that to us in your applications, in the words you write, that should be your goal. So here's the QR code. If you wanted to access the application form on your phones now, give it a scan. And if you wanted to reach out to us to ask questions, please contact Jack. Their email is on the screen right now. Take a photo of it, scan it, and we'll move on to having some people coming up on stage now. But as for the information seminar, that's the end. And before I kind of applause and people come up, I'm actually doing another talk in a month from now on the 25th of September, where it's a brand new talk. I've never done it before, where I'm going to walk people through step by step what people can do if they also want to land a PhD at a top 5 university internationally. And there are lots of tricks and things you can do. You don't have to be a straight HD student. I failed courses in my undergrad, but there are things you can do to optimize your chances to get into a good university for a PhD program if any of you are interested. So I'll have links available, and I'll put up ads soon, but if you're interested, stay posted, and that's going to come soon. But anyways, that's the end of the information seminar. Thank you so much for coming and listening.
We've asked a few students from the program to just come up, introduce themselves, and talk about the offers they received. If I've reached out to any of you, or Sean, can you please come up now?
So,
hey guys, not sure if anyone here knows me. I'm from the math department. I'm teaching a couple classes. But yeah, I did the RSP several years ago now, I think 3 or 4 years ago when I was in undergrad. I think it's a great opportunity, even if you're not from CS, if you're from maths or engineering. I think it gives you a lot of familiarity with the type of questions that you'll get in different industries. Even just the mock practice interview part, I think is very valuable, even for not purely technical interviews. But yeah, very good with the learning the algorithms, etc. After doing the RSP, have since worked at 3 different HFTs in trading positions. I think it's quite useful to get familiar with the interview style. As I was suggesting, even though that the HFT interviews are not always exactly algorithmic, it's a similar format, so it kind of gets you used to working under that kind of pressure and talking your way through technical questions.
Hi, so my name's Anthony. I'm actually the PhD with the newborn that Ravi mentioned. I did my PhD at AML. I came from mechanical engineering, so I didn't have anything like this in my undergrad. It's a completely different field. I had a lot to learn, and I wish I knew about this earlier. If I knew about this when I started my PhD, I think I would have had a lot of different opportunities available to me. The most valuable thing that you really get out of this, like Ravi said, you can learn this content by yourself, right? Leak code is leak code. You can go on it, you can study it, right? ADM, you can buy it, you can read it. What you can't get is the mock interviews, right? You can't get a pool of people who are dedicated and willing to put the time in, right? And the connections that you make, right? You meet people who are at all these top companies, HFT funds, Google, Atlassian, all the rest, right? Like the value of that is it's just priceless, really is. So when I did this, I had, my daughter was born end of October. I know this, end of October. A week later, I started a full-time role at a defense company called Kinetic as a senior software engineer. And then a couple of weeks later, I started RSP and I was tutoring. So if you're wondering if you have the time, it's literally, you just have to make the time. I went through the course. Personally, I got to the intermediate level. I didn't have quite enough time to make advance. I make some excuses. But then I interviewed at Atlassian, and now I'm a senior machine learning engineer at Atlassian. So definitely it's been worth it for me, and strongly encourage you all to do it if you can find the time. So.
Hi everyone, my name is Ellie. I don't have much advice to give, but I started RSP after ADDS and ADSA, and I will be doing an internship at Canva at the end of this year.
Hello everyone, my name is Tom. I started RSP at the end of my first year after I finished object-oriented programming, and it was actually Jack that convinced me to go ahead and enroll with the program. I almost didn't do it, but it was totally life-changing. Throughout the program, I got internship offers at Atlassian and Optiva, but now as a graduate, I'll be working at TikTok, and definitely the skills I learned carried over to grad interviews as well.
Hey guys, my name's Hamish. I did the program a few years ago now, when I was in first year of my undergrad, and from that I was able to get internship offers at Optiva and IMC.
Hi guys, my name is Fulk. I did RSP after my first year, so just last year, and that was after I've only done object-oriented programming, and this year I got offers from SIG and Fivecast.
Hi, my name is Georgia. I did RSP after my first year, having only done MATLAB and C and object-oriented programming, and I received an offer from SIG.
Hi, my name's Zach. Like George Woodfork, I just finished first year comp sci when I did RSP after object-oriented programming. I got offers from Atlassian and a few HFT companies, including IMC, where I'm going this summer.
Hello, I'm Shayi, and I did RSP after doing ADSA and ADDS. I've gotten an offer from MongoDB, and I'll be interning there this year.
Hi, my name is Sheila. I started RSP after my first year in undergrad, after doing UP. And then since then I have got offers from Google, Amazon, and Optum and IMC.
Hey everyone, I'm Milan. I did RSP 2 years ago after finishing through. And I got offers from Canva, Atlassian, and Jane Street.
Hello everyone, I'm Zach, and I did RSP after my first year, after OOP. And before doing RSP, I really considered dropping out of computer science and kind of changed my life after that. I have received offers from Google, TikTok, Atlassian, SIG, and IMC.
Hey everyone, I'm Puya. I did RSP. I did it on my first year, having done just OOP, and I got offers from Atlassian and podcast.
And a few of the people here will remain on stage, and we'll do Q&A, and we'll have a few mic runners running up and down. So if you have a question, put your hand up, and one of the mic runners will come to you to give you a mic, and we'll just keep doing Q&A until the pizzas come. All right? Thank you, everyone. We'll use it. I think we use. Oh, we'll keep one here.
You've got one mic and.
Yep.
So you could turn off yours if you want.
Yeah, I want to.
Yes.
Alright, we'll get the chairs out. Good?
Yeah, I can see.
Alright, come on in. Crowd in, crowd in. Come on, Taylor. You're the OG, Taylor.
Hey, bitch, come here. You're OG as well.
I think we should grab a chair.
Alright.
Might look a bit more interesting.
Alright, so if you have a question, your hand up, and a microphone is going to come to you, and just start speaking, and we'll hear you.
Hi, Ravi.
You got that mic?
Yeah. So maybe like.
Yeah, we're good. So I'm in third year. I've already done like OOP and ADSA, ADSA, and everything. And I'm just wondering if that's like, if I have time now for it to kind of turn around. I think I haven't used my time in comp sci as well as I could have. Would this be kind of the opportunity for that?
Who wants to answer?
I can answer.
No matter what your background is, no matter if you're just starting university or ending university, it's never too late to get an internship or a graduate position at a company that you dreamed of. I know when I internshiped at Optiva, I unfortunately didn't get a graduate role, so I had to go and reapply to other companies, which was a bit disheartening, seeing as I was in my second year, so it was a little bit later on. But no matter what sort of level of experience you have, your background, or what you've done in the past, a rapid study program should give you the skills required to get into big tech companies now. And as long as you put your mind to it, you might not be able to get an internship offer if you're graduating, but definitely a graduate offer. Lots of companies like Google, Facebook, almost any company has graduate roles available, so you should be able to learn one of those.
Cool, thank you.
Yes. You already said yes, sir.
Hi, Jack. Congratulations. I just wanted to ask whether this program will be online or offline. That's my first question. And the second one is there like a hard and fast rule that we have to solve, like that many easy, that many hard, and that many medium problems from the lead code every week? Like, can we just vary it around, like solving 10 problems from the medium category or easy, or like?
Yeah, sure. So the question there is the program online, offline, and are there requirements every week as to what level of difficulty leak codes you solve? So the program is primarily online. It's all conducted through the Discord server, pretty much. There's a Google Drive as well, and some other forms of online communication. We do have some events that you can attend in Adelaide. So at the end of every RSP season, everyone who graduated will go to a barbecue party on the Sunday that RSP ends. But it's by all means, you don't need to do anything in person. Although there is a lot of demand, I know, for more in-person events. So we will try to organize them throughout the season. And as for the leak codes, we do require that you do at least 2 hards every week. And in order to promote to novice, you need to have a certain distribution of easies, mediums, and hards. We're a bit lenient with that. In your first week, you might only do 1 hard, but ideally you shouldn't be doing 6 easies and 4 mediums in a week. We want to make sure you're focusing on the medium questions with some easies and hards to supplement.
Yeah. And with the easies, it's important to do them because you can still get asked easy questions in real interviews, and it's good to be practiced on the style of the easy questions. So you shouldn't only ever do hards or only do mediums because you might get asked a variety of them.
Hey, can you hear me? Yeah. This may have been discussed just before I showed up. The traffic was bad. But obviously we live now in the age of sort of AI programming, and I have a lot of experience, using ChatGPT and Copilot to help me with, basic syntax. It's only right now that I'm trying to code without any assistance, and I'm forgetting brackets left, right, and center. Do you think that these AI tools are changing the way that these interviews are conducted in any way, or changing expectations around some of the skills in those interviews? Yeah, basically.
I'll answer that. So, from my experience with the interviews, they have been very leak code style question interviews. And when you have this, you don't have a syntax checker. You don't have to necessarily run your code. It's sometimes done on, say, a Google Doc. Well, not necessarily a Google Doc, but that company's platform of a Google Doc. So they're not looking for absolute perfect syntax, but it is something that they would like to see. They don't want you to see you stuffing up and needing to rely purely on AI. But yeah, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but it is something that they want to have clear code that is syntactically correct. Yeah, that's what I would totally say.
I've just got something to add there. So one thing is, especially with the HFT, high-frequency trading companies, they are starting to move a bit away from leak code style interviews and a lot more design-orientated ones, like object-oriented design and system design, which I think is great. Design notes until just now that Ravi's changed the advanced requirements a bit so that now this is being included in the mock interviews for the program as well. I think that's something really valuable, especially if you're aiming for those companies where there's a bit more broader, kind of almost creative thinking rather than the same problem solving with algorithms and data structures.
So I wanted to ask about if you're not a student anymore. I'm so far along university, I've already graduated a while ago, and I'm still on the university mailing list, so I knew that this program existed in the first place, but I don't know if that is going to get in the way of this being available to me. I'm at the stage where I'm literally applying. I've already been applying for jobs right now, and maybe this has come a bit too late at this point. I'm going to have to do at least some of this on my own. But I don't know where that leaves this program for me, basically. I've been lucky enough to do an internship in the UK already. And this seems very focused on getting internships, not proper postgraduate jobs. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Hey, it's not too late.
Yeah.
So literally I was working as a senior software engineer at a defense company when I did this course, right? I know somebody else asked about earlier the first question, being in your third year. It's never too late. Look, the really easy evaluation that you can just do on the top of your head is, am I earning hundreds of thousands of fucking dollars? If you are, cool, why are you here? Right? If you're not, then you're in the right spot. It's that simple, right? The biggest problem, honestly, God, you'll have, right, if you're coming with a lot of experience. And then this is just the truth, it's not trying to be disrespectful, but yeah, you are going to mock with people who are 1-2 years of uni, and you're going to do a behaviour with them, and then they're going to give you feedback, and that feedback might not really be that applicable, right? Like they might feel like they need to say something, and that's about the pinnacle of the downside, is you will spend 5 minutes answering a behaviour question, you get some feedback that you can ignore, and that's it, right? You get the mocks, you get the practice, you understand what it is they're going for, how to play the game, you get really comfortable going through the interview process, like the coding under pressure, right? Like as Ravi and Jack said, it's designed to make the interviews harder than what you actually experience, right? So it's meant to turn the pressure up, so when you get out there, the interviews are actually easier. Touching on that last thing about system design, that's a really big thing and something I could speak about for quite a while. System design is becoming a really big thing in interviews, and a lot of people are struggling with that, right? But essentially, no, it's never too late, and there's a lot of value to build.
Hi. You mentioned that it was free for students, right? Does that mean I have to be a Comsci student, or only specifically Adelaide Uni, currently enrolled or previously enrolled? And are there other requirements to make an application? Thanks.
Was the question whether or not it's free for everyone? Is that the question?
Hello. Yeah. What are the requirements to apply?
So guys at the back, could you please close the doors, and just so that we don't have the noise bleeding in through the hall while we're doing some Q&A. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to know specifically what the requirements are to apply, because I'm not enrolled in Adelaide Uni.
It's free for everyone. There's people from UNSW doing it too, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, anytime you agree, even if you already finished uni, even if you're in high school, we had a high schooler do it and get an internship. So literally anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, like we're not making money out of this program and paying ourselves. This is just, we're just trying to train the community to get better jobs. That's all it is. So if you want to get a job, sign up and give it a shot. Even if you sign up and you pull out partway through, you're still going to get all the content. You'll make a shit ton of connections, and it'll be an excellent experience just to get connected to a bunch of people at a minimum. So there's nothing to lose really. Yeah.
I have some of the background in my bachelor's in China, and I'm now studying for my master's now. And do I need to go this program first, or just find a real internship first? Sorry for personal questions.
Sorry, what was the question? Should you try and join the program first, or find an internship first?
Yes.
Yeah. If you can find an internship first, that's great. I would fully support that. I had a lot of students last year doing an internship while they were doing the program. It might be more difficult for you if your internship aligns at the same time as the program, in which case you might need to consider how much do I value the experience of the internship now versus the potential offers that I could be getting if I spend some more time practicing to look for better offers. So I'd say that's a personal decision you would need to come to, depending on how highly you value the internship offers you're able to receive. If you haven't gotten any offers right now, I would still recommend searching for them and potentially deciding later between the internship offer and the program. I would definitely not discourage you from seeking internships in order to do the program instead, because the program is designed to get you an internship.
Okay, thank you for your advice.
Hello. I have a sort of a two-pronged question. So one is I applied to a very small number of internships, and I've noticed that some companies just at the first round they'll ask like a psychometric testing instead of like a LeetCode. So in your experience, what is the split between like the style of questions companies ask? And also, in your experience, like how many companies have you had to apply to, and how many have you got responses from for interviews, and then offers from that?
Yes, sir.
So for the first part of the question about kind of the split of different kinds of questions you asked, I found that a lot of the big companies that especially lots of people in RSP are striving for, like Google, Atlassian, Big Tech and HFT, they start off with a lot more of the leak code, like algorithmic and data structure problems, whereas more of like the psychometric testing tends to be more of like your management firms, like Deloitte, KPMG, those kind of ones. Personally, I found that the psychometric testing is more of just a hit or miss. It's harder to practice for those, and the best way to kind of prepare for that is really just to apply for as many companies as you can, because you're going to miss a lot, but you're also going to get some hits. And then the important thing is to go through RSP, so then you've got that experience for when you get to actual proper interviews, you know how to handle yourself. And then so even though you're not going to pass everything, you've still got the chances, and you can kind of maximise your odds for the interviews you do get. Could you just remind me what the second part of the question was?
Second part of the question was how many companies in general, like you don't need an exact number, but how many companies you applied for, and then the ones you got responses for interviews, and then the amount of offers you kind of got from that.
Yeah, okay, so for the amount of companies you apply to, just a bit of advice for everyone is just apply to everything. Even if you're not interested in the company at all. I applied for some unpaid ones in Adelaide that I didn't really want to do, but if you just get to the interview stage, getting those real-world interview experience is really valuable, because even if you've got your sights set on a higher goal, you'll find that it's a lot more stressful doing the real interviews compared to the mocks in RSP, even though we do try to prepare you as best we can. And so to aid with that, the mentors and Ravi and Jack will put together, usually there's a spreadsheet of companies and when their graduate and internship applications open to help everyone really maximise their odds by applying to everything. And then we also do encourage people to keep track of their applications. So in part of your, it's going to change a bit this year I think, but last year we each had our own spreadsheet where we kept track of our current applications and our progress. And so really you apply to everything you can, I'd suggest. And then you hear back from some of them. It narrows down. It just depends person to person on how many you hear back from. I think I must have applied to 40 companies in total or something. I got back maybe 10 to the first stage, so you do miss quite a few, and a lot of them just won't even consider you, just especially if you, lots of us are first years, there's not much on our resume yet. And so a lot of companies, especially the ones that don't have preliminary data structure and algorithmic testing, they kind of just scan your resume, they see you don't have much experience and they kick you out. There's nothing you can really do about that, but the good thing is if you apply to enough companies, you do get some opportunities. And then from there, it's just trying to do your best in staying in the interview pipeline. So like I mentioned, probably got about 10 to the interview stage. And then kept going. I got knocked out a few first round, knocked out a few second rounds, and in the end I got 4 offers from the big companies. So yeah.
Just checking, is the pizza here?
I think it is,
yeah. Yeah. Okay, we might wrap up the Q&A here then.
If you have more.
Yeah. If you have any more questions, we will be up. You can come and talk to Ravi and I and everyone else who came on stage who's done the program. You can also talk to the clubs, the Computer Science Club and the Competitive Programming Club. I highly recommend getting involved. Thank you everyone so much for coming.
Thank you.